Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good, and it's great to see people without masks here. We can see most of them without the mask, and it's fantastic. Thank you so much for making your time. My name is Sankar. I head the digital services for Europe. I'm responsible for East Asia. And today's event is actually a follow the sun approach. We are second, followed by Melbourne. So our Melbourne office held the event, followed by us, and then we're going to be hosting it in Amsterdam, London, and Los Angeles, this digital event with the clients locally. So this is not about Europe itself. It's about what digitalization can do to the industries where we work in. So that's the whole idea for us today. In Europe, sustainability is everything, and digital is an enabler for everything that we do to help serve the community and shaping a better world. Before we kickstart the event, I would like to request Mr. Michael Kwok, our East Asia chair, to give an opening remark. Michael.
Thank you. Eddie and Benson, Joanna and Raymond, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So a very warm welcome to you all to the Hong Kong section of our global event series, Digital Horizons. And today we will explore how we can accelerate urban innovation by harnessing the power of digital. As our planet is fast approaching a tipping point in terms of carbon emissions, it is clear that transition into net zero, climate resilient, and biodiverse world will be a critical challenge for the built environment in the coming decades. Digital is one of the most significant enablers in this transition by optimizing assets across their lifetime, by modeling new pathway to net zero, and by supporting better ways to plan and manage whole cities. At Europe, digital runs through everything we do. We embed digital processes and tools throughout the whole life cycle of a project, from inception to design to construction, management, maintenance, and retrofit. Our goal is to create greater value for our clients and stakeholders with integrated solutions by combining analytics, automation, digital creativity, and emerging technologies with our multidisciplinary engineering and broad domain knowledge. This approach has already resulted in great outcomes, from improving building energy efficiency and occupier well-being to advising on Hong Kong's smart cities initiatives and accelerating smart mobility across East Asia. We are formulating innovative digital solutions that make our cities more sustainable and resilient. We believe that achieving a digitally enabled sustainable future is a collective journey. It is only through partnership and collaboration that we can ignite new ideas and shape novel solutions for our cities. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our speakers for their great support. In the next hour or so, they will share with us various impactful and practical digital solutions that make tangible difference in shaping a better world through a series of case studies and insightful panel discussion. I hope you enjoy the session. Let's work together to turn ambition into action, open up new digital horizons for a more sustainable and resilient future. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Our Global Digital Services lead, Mr. Will Cavendish, is unable to be here, but he's recorded his speech. So let us hear from Will now.
Welcome from me to Digital Horizons, a whole day showcasing the opportunities, challenges and debates about the role of digital in our world. I'm delighted to be able to kick things off with a short presentation about what we in Arup have learnt and think about some of these issues. First, we know the built environment challenge is growing and profound. Over the next couple of decades, the world's population will rise to 10 billion, and we need to meet their needs in an equitable fashion. Their needs for habitation, their needs for energy, for water, for transportation. Within that, 2.5 billion more people will be living in cities that we need to plan, design and build. In other parts of the world, most of the buildings that we need have already been built. Another challenge for us to face. And of course, we need to do all of this while we're living within planetary boundaries, particularly the planetary boundaries of carbon and nature plus. So we're going to need to meet the needs of more people in more equitable ways, while at the same time making sure we preserve our planet. Now, the good news is that there are some great new and existing digital technologies that can help us with this task. And in Arup, we think there are 6 really significant ones that are going to be useful for us. The power of artificial intelligence and machine learning, allowing us to explore big data in new ways and provide new insights about the challenges we face. The proliferation of data that's coming from sensors, drones and satellite technology, offering new opportunities and new frontiers for our understanding. The ability to develop and deploy digital twins for both simulation and optimization of operations and asset management. The power of the Internet of Things, 5G networks and cloud computing in providing a modern, scalable technology infrastructure to the built environment. The ability of generative design to use algorithms to design things in different ways and better ways than we've been able to do before. And the onset of robotics and automation as new tools, new solutions, new opportunities for us. These 6 technologies, we believe, are very powerful and offer us great opportunities in our work going forward. And on the back of those, we already know that digital can critically enable the pathway to net zero, to climate resilience, and to nature. For example, the ability to use generative algorithms to design buildings in different ways than we've been able to previously and optimize a whole range of complex factors to improve outcomes. In some cases, reducing embodied carbon by up to 50% over a more traditional design. Or indeed, using the power of data and analytics and structural modelling to improve significantly the climate resilience of buildings portfolios, with an opportunity cost of perhaps $3 trillion of savings and improvement across our building stock around the world. Or the ability to use Earth observation data to both map and improve biodiversity net gain, so contributing significantly to Nature Plus. So digital enabling net zero, climate resilience and Nature Plus, but also digital enhancing our ability to meet human needs. Our ability again to use satellite data to map cities and districts at a level we've never been able to do previously, to design nature-based solutions that bring the power of green, blue and grey infrastructure to improve the functioning, livability and biodiversity of our cities. Things like smart buildings platforms that allow us to take the enormous power of data inside our buildings to improve human well-being, improve occupancy and also reduce significantly energy, perhaps by up to 30% of traditional buildings. And the ability to use digital twins to map, analyse, understand and take us through the pathway of shifting towards a more decentralised, more resilient, more renewable energy system, absolutely vital to the future of our energy and absolutely vital to the future of the pathway to net zero. So digital tools, techniques, capabilities also enhancing our ability to meet human needs. However, there's always a but. Firstly, when we step back and look at the pace of digitisation in the built environment, the truth is it's only just started. Compared to other sectors that are much more advanced, digitisation is at its early stages, for example, in something like construction. Now the corollary of that is that we're going to need all to put in a huge effort and huge investment to create the kinds of technology, data and digital infrastructures that are going to be needed and on which many of our digital solutions are going to need to sit. And that's going to be costly over the next 10 to 20 years. Very hard to estimate how much, but tens, if not hundreds, if not more, billions of dollars are going to be required to be invested in the sector in order to create the fundamental platform of digitalization that we need. Secondly, unlike other well-known technology sectors, particularly consumer technology sectors, where whole new companies or whole new technologies seem to come out of come out of the blue and get implemented very quickly. Think of the current debate around something like ChatGPT. In our world, it's different. We live in a world of deep tech, where our solutions need to be rooted in engineering and science, where research takes time, where it takes time to develop the solutions, scale them, prove them, and make them available and usable in the world of buildings, construction, and infrastructure. And not only does it take more time, but it also means that the whole sector needs to work much more closely in partnership. Incumbent firms, startups, governments, regulators, financiers, venture capitalists, and of course consumers and clients, all are going to need to work together to pull through the deep tech solutions that our sector needs. And that's going to take longer, so there's no time to lose. We need to get cracking now. Third, our sector is really rather used to building new things rather than reusing what we've already got. But particularly with the rise of embodied carbon, we're going to need to treasure and preserve and reuse and refurbish what we already have, compared to just thinking about greenfield and new build. Again, digital technologies have a great opportunity here. So, for example, in refurbishing and reusing existing buildings, a critical task is to understand their structural state. What's their state of repair? How have they deteriorated or otherwise over the 40 or 50 or 60 years of their design life? Digital tools, structural modelling, new forms of data, new forms of machine learning allow us to understand that in a way we weren't able to do previously. And that allows us to keep and reuse structures and buildings that otherwise we might have just written off. Likewise, when looking at the lifespan of a complex asset like a long-span bridge, we can again use the combination of structural engineering, data insights, and advanced simulations to properly understand how that infrastructure is performing and how it can be repaired and improved to last another 20 and 30 years. And that's an example that we Arab have done on a bridge, for example, in the Netherlands. And even for more recent assets like offshore wind, the same issues. How can we extend the life of what's already there? How can we optimize the maintenance of that asset and the operation of that asset? We can use machine learning, data and digital and insights to provide fresh understanding about how that can be done and how we can prolong the economic life of existing assets. Finally, though, so much change in our world is now being driven by public policy, by commitments that are being made internationally, regionally and nationally towards climate change, towards climate resilience, towards Nature Plus and other areas as well. These are the things that are driving change in our sector, whether it's the EU Green Deal or the American Inflation Reduction Act or the Chinese commitment to peak emissions in 2030 and reduce, or India's commitment to be net zero over the next decades. These are the commitments, the policies that are shaping our sector and providing the dynamic for change in our sector. But that means we're going to need to get better at working with governments, understanding governments, collaborating with public agencies and public policy to achieve the kind of changes we want to see. So the good news is that we have some fantastic digital technologies that we can use and deploy in our sector. The good news is that we know already they're helping us head towards net zero, improve climate resilience, get to Nature Plus, and provide services at scale for the population in the way we need. But there are challenges. We've barely started. We need to take time to develop the kinds of deep tech solutions that are needed. We're going to need to increasingly focus on what we've already got rather than what we need to build. And we as a sector are going to need to get ever better and work ever more closely with decision makers and public policy agencies. But if we do all of that, the opportunity is very significant. And whether it's harnessing data in the built environment, whether it's accelerating urban innovation, whether it's promoting climate resilience, whether it's moving towards net zero and a nature positive future, or whether it's designing and delivering the future transportation, all the topics for our sessions today, there is an enormous opportunity to harness digital to tackle the world's needs. Thank you, and I hope the day is a wonderful one.
I thought that's for me. Yeah, so today we are very honored to have 4 of our key clients to share and speak their insights with us. First of all, I'm going to invite our first speaker, Mr. Eddie Senior Land Surveyor, Remote Sensing Data Analysis Section of the Lands Department of Hong Kong. Eddie, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you today. My name is Eddie. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our hosting this meaningful event. Today, I will be discussing a pilot study that utilized the professional service of our. This pilot study has employed AI technology to detect land use and land cover change in rural areas of Hong Kong. So let's get started. Okay, the objective of the pilot project, we want to produce a land use and land cover map using AI. Our requirement is that the map should be high resolution of 2 square meter per pixel. Regarding the classification, we need a constant definition and categorization. And we also require the map to be annually updated. And the usage is more than thematic because we want to improve our change detection algorithm we are using. Okay, let's review the terminology of classification. According to the European Commission, the INSPIRE, classification is an abstract representation of real-world phenomena, that is the situation in the field using classifier. And also is necessarily involve definition of class boundary that must be clear and based upon objective criteria. Okay, about the change detection part. In this pilot project, we have used 2 epochs of data. Both are imagery data, and we have processed them into true or false photo, and then wrote the land cover map, and then we compare to the 2 different imports of data to put out the change. And this is a general workflow. First of all, we employ the training data, and we do the pre-processing, and we define our annotation. We will then use different algorithms to start to work out the model training, do the post-processing and evaluation. And this part, we will reiterate until we come out train the model with a satisfactory result. Once the trained model is ready, we will use our production data to work out the prediction and apply for evaluation. And this is a more detailed workflow of the change detection mechanism. With all sorts of data, we will do the processing. In the classification, you can see the first 2, the image indexing and image differentiating are classical pixel-based remote sensing technique. And the segmentation is the object-based one. And then the last 2 one is the innovative part here. We have used the machine learning and deep learning to do the classification. Once we have worked out the classification algorithm, we'll produce the land use and land cover map, and then we'll apply for various types of change detection. Okay, regarding our power study, where we have employed an area of around 50 square kilometers in an rural area of Hong Kong, and to make sure that the annotation is properly done, we have defined an annotated area of around 140 square kilometers, which is nearly 3 times the prediction area. And we have used 2 epochs of data, the imagery data. One is taken in the year 2018, and the second epoch is taken in between the years 2020 and 2021. Okay, this is the imagery data. The imagery data taken. There is the 2 spots of data. They are the digital aerial photos taken by another section in the lands department. This is the photogrammetric and aerial survey section, and they are of high resolution. The ground sample distance is just about 5 to 6 cm. We'll use this digital aerial photo to produce the digital surface model, the DSM, and also the DSM ortho photo. Apart from the digital aerial photo, we'll also use the LiDAR data taken in the LiDAR survey all over the Hong Kong in 2020. We have used we also use the DTM for this the classification and the production of land use and land cover map. Okay, and this is an example of the data. This is the DSM ortho we produce, and this the DSM ortho is defined. The extent is defined according to the B1000 tiles, and this illustration show is one of the training area of different epochs. Okay, let me talk about the classification. Regarding classification, we'll start from macro to micro. First, we work out the 4 main class: the water, shadow, others, and vegetation. Once the level 0 is okay, the result is satisfactory, we'll further classify. Just like the others, the class others will further classify into EMF. We call it the elevated mammoth features and also the ground. And again, when this 6 class of level is having a good result, we'll further classify again to the last 18 class on the right hand side. Just for example, the ground is further classified as barren ground and paved ground, and also mudflat. Okay, and that's the result of the land use and land cover map. You can see that the difference level, the level 0 to level 2. You can see in the level 2, the color here is very similar to the image on the top. Okay, this is another illustration showing 2 epochs of data. And this is the accuracy. We have finally worked out how to work out the accuracy. The accuracy here, you can see the level 0 is more easy to work out, so the accuracy is high enough. It's over 90%. The level 2, as the classification became more and more detailed, the classification result will be a bit lower, but it's still nearly 70%. So this is an example. You can see on the top photos here, it is the data in 2018. You can see the rooftop is bare, but in the second epoch of data, you can see that our algorithm is able to classify the solar panel on the newly built on the rooftop. So these are the challenges we have met in the project. One is the definition of classes. We have to spend time in working out the classification, and the second the challenge is we have to sort out our data source. There is a limitation on the imagery data, and also we have limited training data set to make our classification accurate, as we have to start from scratch, and we have to develop our own checking method, and also we have to deal with the challenging with irreverent data, just like the shadow class. Okay, that's a short conclusion. In this project, we successfully prepare our land use and land cover map, and we also do a change detection according to our class as defined, and hope the result will later support our land management. This is the reference we make to prepare the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, it's a very difficult project. I can say working with Eddie for more than 14 months, even understanding land cover was not easy, and especially for software engineers to work with land use people was completely a new lesson learned for us. So AI is not just magic. It's not like one line of Python source code. You just send something and it will do magic for you. Don't believe it. Right, we're going to have our next speaker, Mr. Benson Lee, Senior Environmental Protection Officer from the EPD, Hong Kong SAR Government. Benson, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Benson Lee from the Environmental Protection Department of Hong Kong SAR. Today, I would like to briefly talk about Central Environmental Database, and the focus will be the construction noise assessment tools developed by Arab, which is part of and very important element of the Central Environmental Database. Well, I will use 2 slides to explain the background of centralized environmental database. And over the years, we collected a lot of data, environmental data, but it is scattered even within our department. So we would like to have a platform that can put all the environmental data under one roof. And so we developed a so-called CED, which included various data, including air quality, water quality, noise, and ecology, so on and so forth. And also, there are common spatial data infrastructure that we ensure that it's compatible to other data from other platforms. And the CED also have embedded functions and tools to enable the environmental consultants and the project proponents to carry out their environmental assessments. Well, as I'm from the noise section, so I use noise as an example to illustrate to you the data to be shared in this CED. For example, for noise, it includes the data of say, for example, the location of the noise barriers, enclosures, where they are, well, they hide the details, where the location of the low noise road surfacings are, and for example, where are the noise-sensitive receivers. These are the things that the environmental consultants and the project proponents would like to have to get it very easily. So we put them all in the under one roof. And as I've said, the CED also have online assessment tools. For example, the web CNMP, which Arab helped us to develop, which is a construction noise assessment tools. The web CNP, what is CNMP? It's just short form of construction noise management plan. It basically contains the construction noise impact assessment for example, the unmitigated scenarios, mitigated scenarios, and also it highlights the measures, the required equipment or method to be adopted in construction projects. And well, the system, the web CNMP system, the user, by defining the works boundary of the sites, and the GIS platform will automatically search for noise-sensitive receivers nearby. And the system also have a built-in database for the construction plants and their sound power level, which is the critical elements to carry out the assessment. So as you see, it can also scan the nearby sites, which over time, when the database collected enough projects, so you can automatically estimate the cumulative impact from Site A, Site B, and Site C altogether. And also the system will automatically evaluate the construction noise level at your selected receivers based on the construction work schedule, the equipment, the kind of activities you defined. And we have a database of, or a library of quiet construction equipment and methods that enable the users to easily select which one is suitable for their construction activities. And also with a few clicks, if all the information you have already got in hand, you can generate the construction noise management plan automatically within the system. So why we build this web CMP, or what the impacts or benefits of this web CMP? It streamlined the process of both preparation and vetting of the construction noise management plan. And it also enhanced the quality of the submission, because in the past there may be many manual translation from a map. You measure some distance between the receivers and the sites, and then translate it into the entries in a spreadsheets, and then copy and paste, and errors are not uncommon. You do it that way. But with this system, the quality will be enhanced. And one of the most important elements is it encourage or promote wider use of quiet construction methods. And the public at large will be benefited because it leads to a quieter environment. And it also, the contractors, if they change the work schedule or equipment list, they can instantly know the differences or the impact right away without waiting, send it to, say, environmental consultant, and we went back, and they can change it and see it online. And user with less noise technical background can also using this system to handle the task. So it benefits the trade and the public at large. And I hope that when this system rolled out, the trade and the public will be very happy and with this system. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to give you an impact of that system, Hong Kong is expected to spend $100 billion of capital expenditure. So you can imagine how much noise is going to be all around us. So it's also amazing to see how our government officials are working towards the public safety and public health and well-being by bringing in technology and digital to our common people's land. Thank you so much, Benson, for that. Coming next, the lady of the day, Mr. Joanna Macaranas, all the way from Philippines. Thank you so much and for coming over and sharing with us. She is from Department of Transportation, Philippines. She is leading the Davao Public Transportation Modernization Project. JM, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for having us here in the event to share with you the project of the Philippines in relation to public transport, especially in Davao. So basically, the Philippines hasn't achieved fully sustainable and eco-friendly public transportation. However, DOTR has multiple projects to advance these programs and activities. So pending the capacity to establish green urban transport system, various initiatives are being implemented in the country. So one of this is the Davao Public Transport Modernization Project, which aims to connect people, connect places, and connect Davao. So it's a bus-based public transport system designed to be more efficient, reliable, safe, and accessible. So it's composed of diesel and electric buses, which will provide interconnected services through 29 routes and 672 kilometer of road network. We are expecting around 800,000 of passengers to use daily to use the network by the opening date. So Agro plays a pivotal role. They are still engaged with DOTR to help us with various steps throughout the project life cycle. So ARUP was there when we conducted the feasibility study. They did the references design. They are supporting us in the procurement of the various contract packages for the project, and they are also helping us in developing the operations and maintenance structure for the project. So the project has three components. First is the modernization of public transport assets. So that's the buses, the civil works, etc. Second is institutional capacity strengthening, and third is the social development program. So Davao has four tier route network. So we have Metro Davao, the feeder line, the interfeeder, and the Davao local. So in terms of the bus fleets, we target to deploy 18-meter articulated electric buses, which is around 300 to 350. When we were doing benchmarking and developing the operations and maintenance, we just found out that it's the largest number of electric buses and electric articulated buses in the whole world. So it's a huge endeavor of the Philippines to actually comply with the commitment to make zero emissions. So we also have regular 12-meter diesel buses, and then the Davao local, which is some may call mini buses, which are Euro 4 and diesel powered. So more or less, we're about to deploy more than 1,000 buses in Davao. Part of the components for public transport modernization is the deployment of intelligent transport system, and which includes the automated fare collection, automatic vehicle locator and computer-aided dispatch, real-time passenger information, traffic signal prioritization, and systems operations and maintenance. Other IT-related initiatives of the city is the Smart Jump feasibility study, which will deploy smart traffic systems within the city. The second component of the project is capacity development. It's the first in the country. Thus, there is a huge gap when it comes to the capacity and manpower in the Philippines. So right now, ARUP has been helping us, the team of the Davao Project Management Office and the Davao Local Government Unit, to actually internalize and improve the planning and implementation of public transportation in the Philippines. ARUP has been there in helping us in ensuring that there's institutional retainment of information and knowledge to ensure the sustainability of the project. So we also target to deploy simulators for drivers training to ensure the safety and the sustainability of the project. So for this one, the AACTF, or Australian Asian Smart City Trust Fund, has given us a grant to actually develop the driver's framework and the deployment of simulators in Davao. Output number 3 is social development program. So basically, we have around 24,000 affected personnel by the project. These are composed of drivers, operators, and allied workers of jeepney operators and drivers that were running around the route that we are providing social programs, financial and non-financial initiatives for them. So it involves the preparatory programs along financial and non-financial assistance to drivers, operators, allied workers, and their families. Basically, what we want and the outcome really is that no one is worse than before when the project is being implemented. So that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, JM. It is an humbling moment for us to have played a role in Davao to make this transformational projects to the citizens of Philippines there. While we need a minute to set up for the panelists, and we are going to have Raymond Kwok joining us from Swire Properties, who is an MEP and innovation lead for the panel, and apart from the 3 speakers. So give us a minute and we'll be ready. Hong Kong is efficient. We don't need a minute. We just need a few seconds. So may I invite the speakers and the panelists together. Benson, Eddie, James. We are on time. I think I always had a question for the government officials. The only thing I always see is the tax rebate. Every year we're getting $10,000. I don't know how they can keep feeding in, but now I understand it's all because of the efficiency gain. So thanks to digitalization, so we can keep getting another $10,000 hopefully soon. My question to the government officials first. It's not easy to innovate, even in private company. It's more difficult to innovate in government setup, which is generally people think it's bureaucratic, slow, very difficult to make decisions. How do you guys do it?
Can you hear? Yeah. It seems, is it work? No sound. Yeah, okay. Innovation, you know, I have to admit, bureaucracy is an obstacle to innovation. I admit it. And in my experience, I think I have some ways to overcome it. First is to engage the stakeholder, into the innovation process by incorporating the relevant department and also the expert into the innovation process. We can actually let them know our goal and is it aligned with their policy or their priorities, and this will help to overcome the difficulty. Another way I can think of is to start something small and flexible. So just not to start something very big at the first moment. And actually, if you can start something in our controlled environment, we'll be able, to learn from any mistake that will happen to us, and it will generate a momentum for later on if we want to have a large-scale project. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Benson?
Well, I believe we need to have a mindset of experimentation and risk-taking. But, well...
It's really very fresh from a government official, risk-taking and...
Yes, it's... well, so I agree with him. We'll start with small projects internally. We did gather some young young guns, say, within our departments to experiment some projects internally. We have developed some AI system for sound recognition system, which if we have time, we can share it to you. And we need to have some quick wins to show the management that we have the ability to innovate. And we also grabs the opportunity to collaborate with, say, the academics and professionals like you, and also young startups. We sometimes brainstorms ideas. Sometimes you give us some insight that we never think of. So this we also promote the staff to have trainings and on new technologies. So also nowadays we have external driven factors. The legislators start asking questions that how new technologies can solve old problems or even new problems. So I believe that from government point of view, these the factors that can innovate.
Thank you so much, Benson. James?
Yes. Actually, it's nice to hear from our colleagues in Hong Kong, because we actually have that struggle in the Philippines, because the Philippine laws and rules and regulations doesn't really encourage innovation per se, because of some rules when it comes to procurement, some rules when it comes to retainment of infrastructure and development. But I think but with COVID, I mean, what happened in the pandemic, it really forced the Philippine government to actually adapt to several technologies, which led to several innovations, which led for us, even in DOTR, to adapt with the recent technology that we have right now in the industry. So I think there are two things that actually help our officials or even our supervisors in actually embracing technology. One is efficiency, which I think technology delivers, and number two is accuracy. So those are the two things.
Thank you so much, James. I'm going to post a question to Raymond.
Yes.
For the people's benefit here, he's the MEP and Innovation Lead for Swire Properties. So every time you walk into Taco Place or Pacific Place, you can see the spot list of Raymond's behind the scenes. And he has a very harsh job, because innovation for them is also tangible benefit. And also what is innovated 6 months before in a building is no more innovation. So they need to always keep innovating every time they do a new building. Raymond, how do you keep doing it apart from pushing me?
I think, firstly, we need to have a very innovative mindset first. Because if we do not have such mindset, actually, we cannot open mind to listen all the new technology. And then we also need to understand our process very deeply. For example, we understand we need to do the water test on the facade system. And then we need to think about anything out of the box a case that can help us to do this task. Then eventually we ask some of the robotic company, and then we develop a water test robot. And then eventually right now we are using it, and then no one need to coming out to doing the water test, and then just let the robot to do it. And then we are very happy to sit down, have a coffee, and then see the robot to do all the thing. is really cool. And then I think all of them, actually, we need to imagine what is the benefit of the technology. And then you need to work out the detail with your supplier, your team, and then to find out the way how to apply this technology.
And really what's so cool about Swire is also they collaborate with industry really open. A couple of software that you may see on the demonstration, one is Neuron, the other one is Conductor. It wouldn't have happened without the help of Raymond specifically. So the credit goes to Raymond to push us to keep driving us for new software and new digitalization. But having said that, both with Benson and Eddie, some of the people who work with them, they're extremely good in AI by themselves. So it's not like they are hiring us to do the job. They know exactly what it needs to be done. They drive us every single day. So it's not easy. When he says 80% accuracy, it's very hard fought, not easy. They need to explain a F1 score. We need to research a lot of papers to prove that this is the AI score modeling. So hiring mathematician is one of the probably the best thing that the government is doing to do that.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your hard work in this project. I know the AT is very hard for especially we want to do such a detailed classification.
Thank you so much. While I'm just going to go for the question, if there are questions from the floor, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to pass on the mic. Do let us know if there are any questions. Okay. Question to, the next question here is, not all innovation needs be only for premium customers. Innovation means usually they charge you more, right? That's the meaning of innovation. We give you innovation, which means we're going to price you more. But from a government side, when you're doing innovation, you're making it for inclusive. It's available for every citizen of Hong Kong. It doesn't matter where you live, where you're from. So how do you people try to bring innovation to inclusive model? Raymond, that's a difficult question for you. Swire is expensive. So how are you making it inclusive?
I think, firstly, we are always thinking it's not a money, it's how we contribute to the world. I mean the sustainability, especially for our human being. So some of the innovative things we are now thinking about, for example, in the conductor system, we are using the IoT sensor to sense the indoor environment for the construction site. Actually, that would be benefit to all the workers, so they can be working at very comfort area rather than just dusty, hot, humid construction site. We are always thinking about is not only our premium, our profit margin, but we are also need to think about the sustainable and also well-being. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Benson?
Well, from government point of view, we look for whether the technology is applicable to specific questions. It depends on the impact and also the cost effectiveness of applying that new technology or innovation. We don't want to have innovate for the sake of innovate. So if that's have new approach to solve old problems, that's very good. That's but at the end of the day, we still need to see whether the solution is cost effective or the impact is worth doing that the new technology.
Okay, as a government officer, we are always looking for innovations and technologies to provide better service to the community and to every members of the public, regardless of their social or economical status. Just for example, our pilot project is a real good example. If we, as the Lands Department, can do the change detection better, and if we can have a faster, production may have a very good classification, we can detect changes accurately for our monitoring purpose that will benefit for the community at large. everyone equally.
Thank you so much, Eddie. And Davao is again special for people's benefit here. There is no public transport today in Davao. So what we are doing is not like 1 to 2. It's 0 to 1, which is completely a transformational project which only operates on jeepneys today. So, JM, would you like to share a bit more about how you're transforming?
Yes. So for the Philippines, public transportation is mainly delivered through this integrated franchises in what we call jeepneys. There are buses, but there's really no a modernized public transport in the Philippines. So rather than actually developing new technologies when it comes to public transportation, there's a huge gap there in the Philippines, but there's also a huge opportunity for modernizing public transportation in the Philippines, which includes developing not just 1 or 2 cities, but really improving the lives of people in improving public transportation 1 city at a time. So that's it.
So I can share here safely. For example, AFCS system, automatic fare collection systems, where you top up the value. When we did a simple survey in Davao, the smartphone utilization is about 50% only. Most of them use the Nokia 3300. So we will actually have features to top up using SMS. That is actually going to be transforming how they will charge up the card using SMS. So it is about really adaptation for the local cities' needs and local people's need. That's how we are trying to simplify technology. You cannot use everybody to use an iPhone to do a topping up there. So that's how Davao is actually working. Eddie, there is a question for you. People are worried because you have change detection and you're seeing the data of the solar panels. If I put an illegal solar panel on rooftop of my home, will I get a punishment?
We are not we are just you just power study and putting solar panels on rooftop is I'm not the control department, I'm not the buildings department, but I in my mind it should not be illegal. Sometimes it's legal to put the solar panel. But forgive me,
guys, for the record, please do check with buildings department, please.
Well, don't ask me.
Right. And there's a question for EPD. Would you consider AI for ongoing construction noise monitoring? Are there any AI elements there?
Yeah. Well, I just mentioned we have a small team. We recruited some young graduates. They developed an AI system to. There are 2 projects. One is the identification of vehicles with modified exhaust. They emit loud, low-frequency sounds. We have a prototype. We have microphones, infrared cameras, and laptops. Put it all together, and we collect the data and train the models, and we put it on the roadside and spot vehicles we believe they have modified illegal exhaust. That's one of the projects with that. And the other projects, we use AI, similar technologies to recognize or determine whether piling or the most intrusive breakers are used within specific periods. Because we issue construction noise permits, we have specific piling hours or operating hours for these equipments. So we developing an AI system to identify these equipment to separate from other equipment. So we do believe if this succeeds, we can use this to say for monitoring the hours of using specific equipment. Another way is to use IoT, set up some stations to monitor the construction noise at specific sites. We might even connect it to the
I was almost
CNM
about to say, I
CNMP.
think that was developed by S3, and we have Hugh Chow here, ex-CEO of S3,
Yeah.
who helped to develop that product for EPD. So
We still have another version we are developing using mobile phone to do similar things.
So there's a lot of technology opportunity with the government, actually. It's not only what we see, only private sectors innovating. Government does it, they just don't market it. They just does it silently behind the scenes. So thank you so much for that. Raymond, what is upcoming for the next project? Anything that you can share?
Can I say secret?
No.
I think in our future, actually, we still focusing on the AI. But the AI is whether we can be predict the maintenance issue and also help us to do the design. For example, right now, as you know that Hong Kong actually lack of the experienced engineer. So a lot of engineer right now is working overtime, even though they can, they are one engineer, they need to working on several projects. Actually, the quality and also their life balance is not good. So we are now thinking about, is it possible we can using the AI to allow, to assist them to do the design? So some of the very simple calculation or even though some of the decision making can be done by the AI. And then we are just reviewing the design, whether it's possible, then we are sign off and then for construction. So I think all of them actually is quite I can see we are now working, looking for some of the technology or some of the system enabler to help us to do so. But yeah, still a long way to go.
Yeah, that's good for the people to believe that there's a long way to go. So the last question, due to the time, technology goes through a lot of hype cycle. I always think that the marketing people work harder than the technology itself. They overhype it. Because of that, there's more issue. ChatGPT is everywhere. Everybody talks about ChatGPT. Anybody's trying ChatGPT in your field for your own use cases? Or have you researched anywhere?
I have tried it and then asked them to create a construction program for a 10-story height of building. Actually, most of the tasks actually they have already put in the program, but of course, right now they are only a testing environment, cannot put into the Gantt chart, something like that. But I can see that it can be help us in the construction. For example, as I mentioned, that a lot of the people actually is going to be retired, especially for the construction industry. Whether we can grab all their knowledge and then put it into the ChatGPT and then add as a knowledge management. So in the future, actually, we are, if we have any problem on the construction and then just type into the ChatGPT and then come out with some solution, and then we think about, is it possible? And then we do it. So can help us to something like that.
Benson?
Well, you either to be an expert of using this ChatGPT or AI technology, or you'll be replaced sometimes. And we've tried that in some of the projects or write an essay of say some related to noise policy, and we have to be mindful that the accuracy of that at the moment may not be that good, but in time, I believe they will evolve into, because I've heard they've rolled out 4.0 today, and
You've been following almost every day. Then you're more updated.
So it's inevitable that they will be your assistant, but don't make them your master.
And ChatGPT, it seems that it's not formally launched in Asian country, and I'm sorry I haven't tried, but I know it's a language model, and we can put input text or ask them to do some textual work for us. But we sorry I haven't tried it. I tried, but it seems that I cannot register an account with it in without some tricks. I should say.
Jay?
I've tried it personally, but not really in a work setting,
Sure.
and I find it really entertaining at the same time, really efficient, because in just a matter of like seconds, you already have an output, which is a good output to a certain extent already. But I think ChatGPT or other AIs also still lacks the human side of interaction between people, which is still one of the most important things when developing something for the city, or for a community, or a person.
Absolutely. Right, almost coming near the end of the time, I do want to give the opportunity to the floor. Are there any questions?
Remarkable experience that you guys face about the resistance, and how do you guys handle those resistance?
Raymond? Maybe ask Raymond. What was the intention?
Yeah, I think firstly, you need to find a white guy to help you first. I think, yes, I can share some of the example in our company. Actually, some of the young engineer, they will be come up with some of the innovation idea. But eventually, they do not how to put it forward. And then, as a mentor, then I will help them. And then to review the case, and then ask some of the question. For example, what is the risk? What is the problem? What is the initial cause that you're thinking about? And then if everything is all right, and then actually we can try to persuade our senior management to put it forward. Of course, we need to do some pilot or a small scale project first. And then we find successful, then we will scale it up to a more larger scale. So I think firstly, you need to find a proposal first, and then whether you need to think about the risk, you need to think about the payback period, something like that, and then eventually you will find a way to implement those innovation technology.
Thank you, Raymond. I've been signed that the time's up, actually. So thank you so much again, JM, Eddie, Benson, and Raymond. Thank you so much for your time. Applause for them, please.
Thank you.
we've almost come to the end of the event. I'm supposed to give a closing remark, but it's not really closing, but really a thank you to everybody to having made up your time to come over here, and hope it was enjoyable and refreshing. I would really request you to connect and enjoy and see the demonstration, please. Thank you so much again.